The Witcher 2 is an epic fantasy medieval role-playing game. It was released for the PC last year and won tons of awards, and now it's being released for the 360. Is it as good as it was on the PC? Find out. Just a quick disclaimer, I haven't played The Witcher 2 for PC, so this is going to be an uncomparative review for the most part, except for graphics. Anyway, The Witcher 2, as I said, is a medieval fantasy RPG, and you play Geralt of Rivia, the most badass guy in the world. Seriously, he kind of reminds me of a combination of Solid Snake and Christian Bale's Batman in a medieval setting, which is totally cool. He's a really, really compelling character, and you're really going to love to get to know him. While it's not a completely open world game, you do engage in a somewhat linear story, which really tells a really great tale of strife, politics, and magic. It's really great. The foundations of this game are as you would expect. You go to towns, you do quests, you get loot, you talk to villagers, stuff like that. But it's all told in a different, darker, grittier medieval fantasy setting. It's less high fantasy of Skyrim and more dark, gritty fantasy of, say, something like Game of Thrones. Your character, Geralt, isn't totally customizable, which is a little disappointing, but you do get different armor, different swords, different boots, stuff like that. There's a ton of different upgrades to do. You can upgrade your magic, you can upgrade your swords, you can have all kinds of gadgets. It really gives it a wide plethora of things to do and things to handle in this game. The interface is really easy to handle on a controller, considering it was a big old PC game. The only problem I have is that when you loot from treasure chests or loot from whatever, as you would in many other RPGs, there's no option to go through and take what you want if you open up a chest. It's simply only take all, like the button in Skyrim, but that's all you can do. So going in something and you see one thing that you want and you hit take all, it's a nightmare if you're like a micromanager like myself. Your inventory is going to be a mess. What really was the kicker for me in this game was the swordplay and combat. It's pretty overwhelming. There's a lot to do. There's blocking, there's parrying, there's heavy attacks, light attacks, there's magic. Yeah, there's a lot. But it all feels really, really tight and pretty realistic. Oftentimes you do fight a lot of guys, but when it's a one-on-one sword fight, you really feel like you're sword fighting, and it's pretty good. I love a challenge, and it is a very challenging game, but it kind of straddles the line between crappy hard and challenging hard. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just not, it's just unfair and poorly designed, and sometimes you're just getting your ass handed to you. But it is a good challenge. It's hard to explain, but it is a good challenge, and it will keep you playing. You will die a lot, and you will stare at a lot of loading screens to reload and try again. But overall, the satisfying feel of swinging a sword and hitting someone is so satisfying and visceral that it's really worth dying and trying again, because it's awesome. The Witcher 2 is a long-winded game. It's based on story, it's based on lore, it's based on long conversations. The game isn't afraid to dump you right in and have you listen in a bar and listen to a wench talk to a guy for like 20 minutes to get a quest. The game really conveys a vast sense of story that is everywhere. Right from the beginning, you're dropped in, they don't tell you anything, you just gotta get yourself into the lore and the mythos of the universe. It's really good. It's good enough to hook you in, get you interested, and getting you to start learning the names, learning the places, learning the legends, all stuff like that. Something I felt games like Dragon Age failed to do. There's plenty of stuff to find, and you'll be immersed into this story for hours and hours and hours. While you can't open up any book you see and read it like Skyrim, which I thought was unnecessary, this game gives you a lot to listen to, and you're going to be reading and listening to a lot of words, so be prepared for that. Now let's talk about the graphics. The big thing is the Xbox 360 version was advertised to not make any compromises. The PC version of The Witcher 2, which I have seen, haven't played, but I have looked at it quite a bit, looked phenomenal. Now, the 360 version looks pretty damn good, especially from afar. It looks a lot like The Witcher 2 on PC. Foliage moves, grass flows, sun is beautiful, characters look amazing. Up close, things start to get a little craptastic, but overall, while you're playing the game, it looks fantastic. and almost as good as the PC version. A few glitches aside, the game is beautiful and doesn't stutter much, and it's just great to look at. The game is so big and so good looking that it does span 2 discs. Word of advice, if you have room on your Xbox 360 hard drive like I barely did, install the game onto your hard drive. If you don't know how to do it, look it up, but you should know how to do it if you're watching this review. Install it to your hard drive because the game will run, I'd say, a good 30% better. Textures stream better, the game just runs smoother, and the developers recommended you install it to a hard drive, so definitely do that. The first disc takes 7 gigs, and the second disc in total, it takes up 15 gigs. I know that's a lot, but, delete some old map packs. It's really worth it because it's awesome. As someone who didn't like Dragon Age Origins, The Witcher 2 is exactly what I wanted Dragon Age Origins to be. Not from a gameplay perspective, but from a storytelling perspective, if you will. Be prepared, though. It is really edgy. F-words fly, heads get cut off, and there are boobs everywhere.
Which is pretty scary for you, right?
Overall, The Witcher 2, I would recommend it to people who like depth and storytelling. If you like Skyrim, especially if you like Fable, it feels a lot like a dark, gritty Fable. If you're into even Game of Thrones and the complex storytelling that Game of Thrones has, check out The Witcher 2 because it'll have a lot of stuff just like that you'll definitely be into. So let me know in the comments if you guys are playing The Witcher 2, what you guys think of The Witcher 2, and most importantly, let me know how many hours you put into this thing. This is a long game, so how long have you been playing it for? I've been playing it for a really long time, and I'm going to continue to, and that's pretty much it.